Hello, I'm back. My name is Jules and this is my channel So Sweet Violet. It's been quite a long time since I recorded a journal. I don't even know. I did Vlogmas though, so the last time we saw each other would have been possibly the 24th of December. I'm not sure, but anyway, I did videos most of December, which was really good fun and a perfect focus for me at the time. I think this is journal number 77. Today is the 8th of February and it's the most glorious, really frosty cold day and sunshine, so it is beautiful. I have made myself a coffee. I am back on coffee, and isn't this gorgeous? This is quite an old teacup and saucer from Emma Bridgewater, and I got a book from Emma Bridgewater. I didn't get it for Christmas, but I got it in the sale, that's right, after Christmas. And it's got pictures of all these little stamps which show you what date each kind of stamp belongs to, and this has got the date, the year on, as well as the little logo, and it's 2001, so that is quite old. It's got some signs of age, but it's not chipped or anything. But so nice to be back on coffee. Okay, what do I need to tell you? So my name is Jules, and this is a video journal all about the crafty side of my life. Today's video is not going to be a standard journal. It's very bright. We face north here, but it is very bright because the sun's out on the trees and I feel like I need my sunnies. So today's not a standard journal because I'm just going to be showing you all of my finished things since Vlogmas. Yeah, since Vlogmas. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things, so that should keep us busy. I live in West Sussex in England with my husband and our gorgeous dog Mabel, who's a whippet. My daughter and I run a shop called So Sweet Violet. I'll put the address on the screen. We make and curate beautiful things for crafters. Yeah, we did a shop update yesterday. Well, we call them tiny top-ups now because we just prefer putting a small collection of things in the shop rather than, say, once a month having this huge update, and it's just a bit overwhelming. So we just do tiny top-ups and it's so much fun. If you are new to this channel, and I know there's quite a few of you, a very, very big welcome to you and thank you for waiting for me. It has been a long time, and if you're one of my regular followers, thank you so much for waiting for me and being patient. I really, really appreciate it. I can't promise, but I'm really hoping to get back on the wagon with journal recording now. I think once I kind of clear the decks and show you all of my finished things, it will make it easier for me to not be overwhelmed when I come back and do the next one, because I'll have just a couple of finished things and whatever's in the making. If you watched my Vlogmas, you would have probably heard me talking about Lyme's disease, because I have Lyme's disease. And I started treatment for that, I think it was early October, and I had 8 weeks of really strong standard antibiotics, plus lots of other things. I had IV drips and liver flushes and lots of things. But since then, I am now on herbal antibiotics. They sound kind, don't they? Wow, they're strong. They're strong. They're so strong that you actually have to start off with 1 drop a day. They come in a little glass bottle with a little dropper on it, and you start off with 1 drop a day, and then the next day you have 2 drops and so on. I think I got to about 8 drops and I was so unwell. So my doctor told me to drop back again, and that's the journey. I've been going forward, coming back, going forward, coming back. But I'm starting to feel so much better. In fact, the last 3 days have been so wonderful. I've started to sleep better because my sleep was horrendous. Nightmares, night sweats, literally not sleeping, and when I was sleeping, nightmares. So that was horrible. But the last 2 nights sleep have been so nice. I think they must be what a normal sleep is like. It's been so long I've forgotten. Because it's literally been months and months, probably years and years since I've had any decent, proper, calm sleep. So I'm definitely turning the corner, but I don't want to speak too soon. So I'll be on these herbal antibiotics for probably a year or more. And every time I finish a bottle, I go up to the next bottle, which is higher in strength. So I will have flare-ups and things, but I'm just so happy that I have finally got a signal, really, that there's hope and it's going to be okay. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good. I hope you are all well. I hope you've had a gentle start to the year. I definitely did. I took January as kind of a hibernation month, and it was so lovely. I did work when I was feeling well. I did work, and obviously all the things in the house carry on needing doing. But I don't know, I just managed to slow my mind down and really look after myself, nourish my body. And I loved January. I loved it, and I was absolutely sad to see it go. But I'm going to kind of continue that theme throughout the year and hopefully forever. So it's now February. Did I say it was the 8th of February? And it's a Wednesday today. Right, I feel like I need to show you some finished things. Where shall we start? I cannot remember what order these things were finished in, so let me start with Petey's hat. I made this for him for Christmas. It's such a nice hat. The pattern is called Just a Hat, and it's no longer for sale. I'm not sure why, but if you have it in your library, your Ravelry library that is, you can still print it off and use it, because that's what I did. It's such a nice hat, and I think this is called Old English Rib or something, but it's a really nice squishy pattern. I found it quite hard to read my knitting whilst doing it, because kind of it's like a rib, but it's offset, and it is quite hard to read it. But he loves this hat. It's really warm, and the yarn is gorgeous. This yarn was given to me by my brain has got no better, by the way. It was given to me by John Arbon Fibres, and it was their Yarnadelic in Sunflowers in My Garden, and it's so nice. They sent me 2 skeins to try, and I really like it. And in fact, I then ordered 3 minis, just as samples of yarn that I might like to knit myself, either a jumper or a cardigan in. So I'm sure they'll come up in my journal at some point. It's not a colour I would ever pick out for myself, but I love it. And I'm looking across the road from this window, and there's a pine tree, and it looks just like the pine tree, or fir tree rather. So yeah, have I got anything else to say about that? I put all the notes in my Ravelry project page, so you'll be able to see there what I used, what needles I used and everything. And that's another thing I need to say, the show notes will be below this video on YouTube. Just click, I think it's 3 little dots, and it will bring up all the information that I've typed there, and there'll be clickable links to all of these projects that I'm sharing with you. So that's Petey's hat, and I do love this yarn. It's got a lovely halo, I think you can see, and it's soft and squishy, and it's been washed, and it looks beautiful. So I would really recommend this yarn, and in fact I think I'm going to be using it soon. So there we go, 1 hat. It feels really strange to be back. I feel really odd. I don't know, I just feel a bit odd. but it is lovely. I have been recording since for Vlogmas because I have a Patreon channel, so I record videos for that every week. So I am used to talking to the camera. I don't know, I just feel a bit strange. I built this up a bit too big in my head. Anyway, let's get on with the next finished thing. Okay, so the next finished thing is a pair of socks. Isn't this yarn absolutely gorgeous? So these are, I've called them my frosty socks. Am I in focus? I think so. I've called these my frosty socks. They are knit out of dandelion and dogwood, and the colourway is candy canes and frosty window panes. And I added gorgeous random pink out of my Beautiful Bits tin. I used my Mabel sock pattern for these, and I just removed the Mabel cable from these. So they've got a beanie toe, and it's got my mini gusset short row heel here. And I did the heel in garter stitch, so I think I did every row knit on the heel. I think it makes a really nice squishy heel. I love it. What else? Just a straightforward simple sock. I did 1x1 rib. I don't think that's twisted. No, I don't think that's twisted rib. And I've got the other one here. So yeah, I really like those. So I've called them my frosty socks. I knit them on 2.25 ChiaoGoo needles. I think I used the 24-inch cable, which are my absolute favourite for socks. I love, actually, not just for socks, I just love ChiaoGoo needles. I think they are my all-time favourite. The other pair of socks I got are my Merry Mice socks. Aren't they pretty? This yarn was dyed up by my lovely friend Kelly for our Christmas in July, or was it Christmas Eve cast on? No, it was the Christmas Eve cast on box we did. And it's called Merry Mice, and it was to coordinate with some gorgeous mousy fabric we had. She also dyed a mini to go with it because it was a sock set, but this isn't the actual mini, although I think, if my memory is working, it was a very similar colour. So for this sock I used my Sweet Vanilla toe up pattern, and I also used lovely Kay from the Bakery Bears. I used her crunkled texture pattern on the body of the sock, and I love it. It's such a nice pattern. I really like that texture. So it's got a beanie toe and a Godet heel from my Sweet Vanilla toe up pattern. And for the calf, let me turn it that way because it hasn't got the jogs, I did, can you see the stripes of turquoise? Let me have a look so I can see what I did. So I did 5 rounds of 1x1 rib, then I did 1 round of turquoise, the contrast, then I did 1 knit round of this yarn, then I did 5 rows of rib, and I carried that on. And the reason I did the plain rows is, if I can get a close up, is so that you don't get the garter bumps on the contrast. 5 rounds of 1x1 rib, 1 knit round of contrast colour, 1 knit round of the main colour, and then repeat that until the end. And I think it looks really pretty. It's quite subtle, but I think it's pretty and it makes a change. And yeah, so these are my Merry Mice socks, and here's the other one of these. I really don't need any more socks. Like, I really don't. I have loads and loads of socks. I sold a couple of pairs in my shop recently, so I may end up doing that, I'm not sure, but they're very pretty. The thing is, I love knitting socks still, but you know, I can't keep knitting things that I don't need. It's very, I don't know, it's wasteful of time and material really. So I did see on Instagram this morning that, I'll put it on the screen, I can't remember her name, I feel bad actually about that, but she has a charity where she knits socks for Marie Curie cancer patients. I think they had to be yellow. Oh gosh, what's her name? I can't remember. So rude of me. Anyway, I'll put it on the screen. So I'm going to have a dig through my stash and see if I have any yellows. So I may do that. I think that would be a really nice thing to do. So that's all my socks. Right, a couple of things I'm going to have to stand up and show you. I'm quite comfy at the moment, so I'm going to carry on sitting down. I got very, very into knitting bows. So this was my first one. Actually, I do need to stand up. This was my first one. And this is, what's going on here? I'm doing it backwards. That's weird. This is the December bow by Petite Knit. And I think I'm right in saying that the Sophie scarf is by Petite Knit as well. Am I? I think so. But actually, when you're knitting it, it looked very like I was knitting a Sophie scarf when I've seen other people knit them. And so it's just one long strip. Put that down. It's one long strip with kind of shape to each end. And then you do this weird folding thing and make a little band. This is another one. You make this little band to go round the centre and pull it all together. And it's so cute. So for this one, I used a strand of DK and a strand of mohair. I believe both yarns were dandelion and... No, the mohair was dandelion and dogwood. I can't remember. But all the details are on my Ravelry project page. And this is bow number 1. And then I got to thinking, wouldn't they look cute on the Christmas tree, on wrapping presents, on jumpers, like in your hair? I just thought they'd look so cute. So then I decided to make a fingering weight one, and I went down needle size. Can't remember what needle size, probably a 2.5. But again, all the details are on Ravelry, and this is bow number 2. So this is just fingering weight. I have no idea whose yarn that is, but it's very, very pretty. I just think on a lovely present, you put that on the top, it looks so lovely. Oh, I'd love to receive a present with a bow, a knitted bow on. Then I thought, oh, I know, I'll make an even smaller one, but actually it didn't turn out much smaller. It's just very weird. I don't understand why. Because this is knit in mohair and on size 2 needles. Look how fluffy that is. How pretty is that? So that's the back. It's so cute, isn't it? I love this fluffy one. Surprised it's not smaller. I don't really understand that. Yeah, so they're all my bows. This is bow number 3. So they're all my bows. I feel like I've worked through my bow obsession for now, but I'm thinking probably second half of the year when I'm starting to think about Christmas again. I think I may make some more. Next up is my advent knitting, I guess. And I made a blanket, so I'm going to stand up and show you this. So I'm calling this my Sea Breeze blanket, and I used my advent calendar from, 2022 was last Christmas. So I used my advent calendar from 2021 from Pineapple Yarns. Which was the starting end? I've got a feeling it was this end. So this, I think, is the end I started. And I just did linen stitch, which I think... I can get a close-up of her. It's a beautiful textured stitch. I really, really like it. It was very soothing, and at the time that was just what I needed, because I was like at the peak of my Lyme's treatment and I felt ghastly and couldn't really think about anything. I just had hours and hours on the sofa or in bed. So I knit this. No, I didn't. I crocheted this, and it's huge. But I have to say, I'm just not in love with it. I don't know. Maybe it's the border I put on that I'm not in love with. I think I got to the point where I just wanted it finished. That's the back. And so I just did a border that I knew I could do. I just feel like my colour palette has changed such a lot since I've been poorly. Oops, sorry about that. And I just need calmer, more soothing colours. So I think, I don't really know. Or maybe this has memories of feeling unwell attached to it. It's hard to know, but I just don't really want it. So I'm not sure what to do with it at the moment. I may give it to charity. I may give it to one of the children. I don't know. A lot of hours of work went into it. And obviously the advent was very expensive. I don't know, but I did have a lot of pleasure, and it was kind of my therapy. So I'm very thankful to it for that reason. Can't remember how many stitches I chained on. I've got a feeling it was about 200, but if you're interested and you can use Ravelry, I would just double check if you were thinking of doing something similar. And for the border, I used undyed yarn. I think this is also from Kelly. Yeah, it's just in a sock base. And I did treble crochets, and I did this tiny little scallop at the top, which I like that actually. I like that little scallopy bit. And for the blanket, I used a strand of undyed and a strand of the fingering weight yarn. And I think, if I can remember correctly, I didn't have any leftovers, all but a teeny bit like that. I'm pretty sure, because I don't remember seeing any leftovers. That time was all a bit of a blur to me. So yeah, it did gobble up the yarn, which I think is good if you've got a lot of yarn to use, which I do. Yes, so I am very grateful to this blanket. It was very soothing and kind of healed me, I think. But it's something that I just don't want. So I'm going to think of what I'm going to do with that. I'm sure someone will think it's beautiful. And it is. It is actually. I don't know, maybe I should put it away and then come back to it in a couple of months. I think sometimes that helps, doesn't it? Right, I'm going to have a bit more coffee. Yes, I hope everybody's well. Spring is not quite tiptoeing in yet, but I do have some snowdrops coming up, which is lovely. And my hellebores are just starting to look gorgeous. I planted a lot when we did our bank. Was that 2 years ago or 1 year ago? I don't know. And I think I planted 8 different varieties of hellebores. Oh, they're so lovely. I can't wait till I have a few more and I can pick them and float them in a bowl like I did last year. Actually, we have a pack of sweet note cards, we call them, in the shop. And one of the photos is of the bowl with the hellebores in. It's so pretty. On to some sewing finishes. So I finally finished my huswife. Apparently that is, I hope I get this right, needle case in German. I hope I've got that right, but I'm sure somebody told me that. It's quite stuffed full of things at the moment, and if I open it they're all going to fall out. So I'm going to show you the front first. So this front embroidery, which I'm going to try and get nice and close. Look at all those French knots. I did this embroidery when I was recovering from breast reduction surgery. So I think that was 3 years ago. So pretty. I can't believe I did that actually. And there's a million pieces to cut out with this kit. Oh, I should say the kit, I got the kit from Pretty Fabrics and Trims, who I love, Sarah and her mum Penny and her husband Andy and her dad. They all work for Pretty Fabrics and Trims, which is so nice. So I've undone it. I'm going to go careful. I'm going to go carefully here. So this is just the inside cover, and it's got a little hexy circle, I guess. So this is quite a big pocket here. I'll show you what's inside in a minute. Ooh, everything's going to fall out of that side if I'm not careful. Okay, I'm going to see if I can hold it up without losing things. To put your needles on. This is cool. If you do lots of embroidery, which I'm going to start soon, you can hang your threads on these little D-rings. Keep my clips on there, which I use a lot. And oops, this side has 2 pockets here and then a big pocket here, and I just love the way, I love the details she puts in, like the trimming of the lace and the button, because it doesn't need the button or the lace, but it just looks so pretty. And it just folds up. It's got some machine quilting. I did debate doing this quilting by hand, if you can see there, but oh my goodness, sorry, but I couldn't be bothered. It did take me a really long time. It has a lot of hand stitching, which makes it utterly beautiful, and I kind of, in my mind, I'm thinking I should actually put my name on it somewhere, because I think I can imagine my grandchildren, if I have a granddaughter or grandson who likes sewing, I can imagine this being passed down. I have a weird mind like that. I often think of things like that. So I think I might put my name somewhere, because I just, oh, it's just lovely, isn't it? It's an heirloom needle case, I think. So at the end of this video, I'll do a little video of me showing you what's in here, because it is quite stuffed full. So that's that. I did enjoy that, although it took me a very long time, but that's fine. We don't need to rush these things. And last, but by no means least, I have finished my Smitten quilt. Hooray! This has been quite the project for quite some time. So I started off making these flower blocks. Let's show you this one. Oh, let's show you this one actually. Gosh, it's bright on here, isn't it? Hang on, let me move my chair. So each block is a hexagon. Oh, it's hard to, I can't. Let me see if I hold it back. Anyway, each of these flowers turns out to be a hexagon, and you make them hexagons by these white shapes here. But in the beginning, these white shapes, I used a text fabric, so it's kind of a white background with tiny black text on it. And at the time, this was probably about 6 years ago, I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. But as time went on, I started to dislike the look. I suppose my taste just changed, and I think that's the problem with some long-term projects, is that you start off loving it, and then in 4 or 5 years I think you change a lot, and my taste did change, and so I nearly just gave up on it and got rid of all the hexies, the big hexy flowers, or the smitten flowers as I called them. But I decided I would remove all of these white shapes and replace them with white rather than the text. Did I explain that okay? Not sure. Which took forever. And then I stitched them all together, and I really probably should have made it a bit bigger, but I just could not be bothered to make more. So let me show you. And I do love this now, actually. So, oops, let me show you this way. So for the edges, I cut some of them in half, and I put half this side and the other half to that one is here. I kind of scattered them so they would be different. And for the border, can you see it's got a line along here? So it's a mitered kind of piece. So for each border, I also English paper piece that. Oh, this is English paper piecing, by the way, where you use templates and you kind of fold your fabric around the templates. So these long border bits, I did exactly the same because I didn't want to end up cutting some of the pretty intricate designs of the flowers by having seam allowance, and by doing English paper piecing you don't have to worry about that. So it took a long time to do these long borders. I think it's a bit longer this way, yeah, a tiny bit. But I'm really glad that I took the time to do that, because at this point I just wanted it done. Oh, she does look pretty. Let me see if I can hold it up. I don't know how much you can see. She is pretty. And I fold over. And on the back is gorgeous Liberty of London Betsy Tana lawn. And the binding is, oh my gosh, what's that called? Oh, I've forgotten, literally I've forgotten. But I love this fabric. Super pretty. So I hand bound it in that, and I hand quilted this. Oh my goodness, I'm not ever hand quilting again. Didn't like it. Don't even know if it will show up. See, it's not great. See puckers. Oh, that might be where it's folded actually. There is puckers though. Yeah, you can't really see it. I'm not a fan of hand quilting at all. Bit too slow for me. But yeah, it is finished and I'm very happy about that. Had lots of naughty words said to it and it took a really long time, but I'm very pleased I persevered with that. I've called this my Smitten quilt. Well, this is my Smitten quilt, and the pattern is by Jen Kingwell, and I'll put a link to that below, and I'll also put a link to Pretty Fabrics and Trims below. And that's everything I finished. So I feel good. I feel like I've cleared the decks, ready for next time when I'll have some new things to show you. Before I go, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's donated to my Ko-fi account and bought me a coffee or a Ko-fi. I just never know how to say Ko-fi. Is it Ko-fi or coffee? But anyway, I have, yes, so thank you so much. Honestly, it has meant the absolute world to me and has made a big difference in my life, and just thank you. But, well, not really but, and I don't know, I've just been trying to tidy up my life, you know, social media. I've been kind of narrowing down who I follow, I've been deleting photos, I've been unsubscribing to emails, just simplifying my life in little ways. And one of the ways I thought I wanted to do that was to close my Ko-fi account and say a huge thank you to everybody who's donated, because as I said, it's really meant the world to me. And I wonder if I could be so cheeky to suggest that if anybody wanted to support my channel, that instead of just donating money to Ko-fi or coffee, you maybe like to pop over to my Patreon channel and kind of donate in that way. So if you wanted, let's say, to donate £5 to my channel, you could go to my Patreon and sign up and get a whole month. So I feel like it's a fair exchange. You're getting something for your hard-earned money, and you can watch a lot of my videos in a month. So yeah, if you would like to donate, and I know lots of you do like to do that, and thank you so much, I feel it's a fairer exchange if you do that, so you get something in return. So Ko-fi has gone international shipping. Oh my goodness, the post has been such hard work. We had all of those strikes. That was it last year? Yeah, last year, like a couple of months in the lead up to Christmas. Then we had a cyber attack in January on the 10th, which meant that we couldn't ship internationally for ages, but we found a new way of doing that now. Oh my goodness, it took some brain scratching, and it takes forever to process a parcel, but we're doing that. So we're now shipping international orders, and I'm so pleased about that. But we still can't take them to the post office. We have to get them collected. And another thing I wanted to share is the fact that we now have a newsletter. It's Bryony's baby. She's done it all. She just checks with me, is this okay? Is this okay? And I'm like, yes, it's absolutely lovely. She's done such a nice job. So you can sign up to our newsletter. I'll put a link below. And it comes out once a month. So February's has just come out. So if you sign up, you'll get it from March onwards. And we just chat in there about our favourite things that we're using, maybe products, maybe patterns, just our favourite thing for that month that we've enjoyed. We talk about our personal crafting, what we're knitting or sewing on. What else do we do? Oh, we give discounts. The last 2 newsletters have had lovely discount codes in them. Kind of behind the scenes, what's coming up for So Sweet Violet. Yeah, just lots of lovely chats really. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, please feel free to sign up below. I think that's everything. I think I've done it. I think I've recorded a journal. So until I see you next time, stay happy, healthy and crafty. Lots of love. Bye. Got my little doggy friend here. She's probably waiting for my coffee cup. Anyway, so I was going to show you what's in here. Sorry doggy, going to have to wait just a bit. Let's open it up and show you. See, that's what I mean. I've put too much in, I think. So in here I have got a ruler. I think most of these things are available in my shop. I'll say if they're not in the shop. So this is a lovely rose gold metal ruler, and they're really nice and heavy. My little ribbons come out of the top of that one. I love these pink pens. They're in the sale on our shop. I know, darling, just wait a minute. And they're really nice. This is not in my shop. Clips are in the shop. Use those all the time. Needles and pins actually are in the shop. These are some scissors which are also in the shop. And this is a gorgeous scissor fob that Bryony made for last year's Advents. I've got a bamboo point turner from Merchant and Mills in the shop. A happiness roller oil essential oil. Nice. Glue pen, very, very essential. An unpicker, also pretty essential. Some needles, Merchant and Mills needles, which I love. What's in here? Got some more needles, not in the shop. Hand cream, not in the shop, but very essential. This is Crabtree and Evelyn Somerset Meadow. Always have a hand cream and usually a lip balm. And this is some Aurifil thread, which I was using for this project. So yeah, that is what is in my huswife. But soon I'm going to have some embroidery thread on here because I'm hoping to start a new project, maybe this weekend. So there we go.